All right. So, in terms of PyCharm, I set it up so that you have a project set up and it's all set up with the right interpreter. Open PyCharm, and you should get to a screen, or you're probably past this screen already. Okay? If you were not here yesterday or I didn't set up your computer, you can get to this screen, and here's what I did. I selected New Project. Here you're brought into the New Project kind of wizard where you want to set it up. The first thing that I did on your computer was I browsed for where I wanted the project to be set up, so the location. On your computers, I went down under Users, I found your ID number, and I clicked into your, if I can find it, OneDrive. That way everything's synced. Anything we do on this laptop is also on the computer, and anything on the computer is on your laptop. And then I created in your documents, okay, a programming 1 folder / unit 2. So once I did that, I hit /programming 1, and you don't have to do this, I already did it for you, / unit 2, okay? The other things that I had to do when creating a new project, and you may never have to do this again, but for those of us who may not have it set up yet, who I'm recording this for, you also have to select what your interpreter is going to be. This is the Python language, okay? Right now, this is not the correct interpreter. You have to scroll down and select Python 3.8, python.exe. That is the correct interpreter that we would like to use to make sure our projects are going to run. Again, if you were here yesterday, I did this for you. The other thing that I did was I take off the create a main.py welcome script because it's just not necessary. We don't need a Python file already made for us. We'll make our own. After that, I hit create, and it went through a bit of a build process, and this is when I moved on to the next computer and started the process for somebody else. Okay? Now, that part should already be done for you, and you will be left with a screen very similar to what I'm about to have. Okay? Does everybody in the room have PyCharm loaded up? Does it have like a screen right there where it says like a Unit 2 project on the left-hand side and a blank screen in the center? Yes? Thumbs up. We're all at that point. Yes? Perfect. You're all in the right spot. Star? Okay, you're going to have to wait. I'll fix it later, okay? So, unless somebody can view and see what he's doing real quick. Is it loading? Okay, mine's loading too. So, under the time that it's starting to load, whatever it is, I'm going to minimize this, okay? If I can, for whatever reason. Doesn't seem to want to. Come on. All right, maybe I won't. I'm going to head over to Google Classroom, okay? In Google Classroom, in the classwork section, I posted a new topic, and in that new topic is a Python graphics material, okay? Go ahead and click on that. This everyone should be doing. All right? There are 3 things within this material. There is a link to a web page, there is a graphic sheet that is a Google Doc, and a graphic sheet that is a PDF. I have tons of these graphic sheets in paper form as well. I will be passing them out to you. I make 500 copies at the start of the semester, and I will probably go through 2,000 or more of them in a given semester or year. Okay? So, we will use them a ton. I use them a ton in my AP class as well. Okay? But either way, you have a digital copy if you need it. What I need you all to do is to click on the link that brings me to my GitHub repository. So go ahead and click the GitHub. And that should bring you to this page. This page is chock full of information, and this is where I and my counterparts at the other 3 high schools store our graphics library. This is what we've been using for a few years and what we've been maintaining, okay? We keep updating it, we keep adding more to it, we keep fixing it when things are broken, okay? Because every once in a while something changes in the computer system and we got to go in and change it to make sure it works. So, in this, you will find our graphics.py file, but you cannot just click on it and download it. What I need you all to do is click on the green code button and download a zip folder. Y'all with me there? Download a zip. In your Google Chrome window, you should see Python graphics master.zip in there. If you can hit the up arrow and hit show in folder. That's going to bring in your Package Explorer. You're going to see Python Graphics Master. For me, it's my 6th copy of this because I've downloaded this quite a few times. For you, it's your first. What I need you to do is right-click on it to bring up the menu. There is an option right here called Extract All. Y'all find it? Click it. That should bring up this window. I don't care what this destination folder is. You can leave it in your downloads, but I want you to make sure that this is checked. Show extracted files when complete. Okay? So make sure that check mark is there and hit extract. That is going to bring up a new window that has our folder in there that is no longer zipped. Double click into that, and you should see 3 things: an images folder, a graphics.py Python file, and a readme file. I want you to simply right click on the graphics.py and hit copy. Way at the bottom there. Hit copy. Y'all with me so far? Okay. Once we have that copied, we are going to try to go back over to PyCharm. And you should all see a screen that looks something like this, yes? You have a Unit 2 folder up in the top left corner. I want you to right-click on that folder and select Paste. Sorry, can't copy-paste during indexing. So if it says that, you got to wait for it to finish indexing. We will be able to copy and paste very shortly, I promise, okay? Mine is just taking an awfully long time. So, while it's indexing, I can come around and help really quick. And once it's finished, we'll move on. Okay? But you should be able to paste. How many of you were able to paste the file into it? No, you do not rename it at all. Just click OK. Okay? That is it. Download it. Download it.
What up, boy?
Else good? Alright, I think mine is done indexing. So here's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to right click on my folder if I can, and I'm going to select paste. I am not going to rename it. I'm just going to hit OK. I do not necessarily need to open it in the editor, but I will for the time being. And this is the Python file that I and my other counterparts have been maintaining for the better part of 5 years. It is 100 lines of code long, lots and lots of stuff, none of which I expect you to understand in the least, okay? It is not important, okay? What's important is that you're able to use what's in this file, not understand how it works, okay? It's an idea called abstraction. We give you a tool, you use it. You don't need to know how the tool is created. You don't need to know how the tool does what it's supposed to do. It's just like driving a car. Very few of you probably actually know how the car gets from A to B, right? Like how it works, okay? What the correct ratio of fuel to air is in the combustion changer. At what point in time does the actual ignition happen of the fuel in the chamber, so on and so forth. Nobody knows that information. Nobody cares. Very few people do. but you can still turn the car on and get from A to B, right? Same idea. So you can close that file so there's nothing there. Now, let's get into how to use it. What I want you to do on your Unit 2 folder, okay, in PyCharm, I want you to right-click again, select New Python File. Make sure it's a Python file, not a plain file. It must be a Python file. And what I want you to do here is call this Graphics Testing. Graphics Testing. Press Enter, and that is going to bring up a brand new Python file for us. I'm going to do one thing really quick that is not necessary for you. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Graphics testing. Okay? Now, here's how your graphics file is going to start. Okay? To utilize code from another Python file, you first must import that Python file into this one. Okay? We've done this before with randomness. We've done it before with the math library when we try to use square roots for a quadratic formula. But this one's a little special because this Python file has lots and lots of stuff from different places. Okay? So our import statement is going to read like this. From graphics import star. Essentially what this means is go to the graphics.py file and import everything. That's what it means. Okay? We can do this with basically everything we do, but it says from the graphics.py file import everything. Now, to create a graphic, you have to do a couple of things, okay? And I'll show you where all this information can come from. But in order to draw something on the screen, you first must create a window to draw the stuff into. Makes sense, right? So here's how we're going to do this. The graphics file or the graphics library is set up with a bunch of functions, just like random.randrange or input, and they all are return functions. They do something, okay? They give you shapes back or objects back. We need to obtain these objects before we can manipulate them, before we can do something with them. The first object you must create is a window. Here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to say win equals graphWin. And inside the parentheses, you are required to type three things. The first piece is a string. This is the name of your window. You can put anything you want. The next two pieces of information are integers. It is the width and height of your window. The width, I'm going to make 1,000. The height, I'm going to make 650 pixels. Did I spell graphWin wrong? Yep, sorry, I spelled graphWin wrong. Uppercase W. Again, that's the nice thing about PyCharm. You spell something wrong, it tells you right away. Okay? Now, in a quick comment, this creates a window. Okay? Just going to make that big so you guys can see it. Star? I can't stop right now. I'm on a roll. Okay? Watch the video when it's all said and done. Okay? I can't do it right now. Okay? The next thing we need to do, okay, is we need to make it so that this window stays active for a long time. Okay? Otherwise, whatever gets drawn, it's just going to close because the program's over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say win.getMouse. And then I'm going to say win.close. I'm going to put a little space here. On line 3, I've got my window created. On line 6, I use a getMouse command, and on line 7, I use the close command. The getMouse command forces me to wait for me to click in the window. It will not stop the program until I click in the window. It's just like press enter to quit when I do the input at the end. It's the same idea. So this waits for a mouse. This closes the window. Now, if you're in PyCharm, to run your program, it's actually fairly simple. All you got to do is right-click in the window, right-click anywhere in your editor, and go down and select the play button that says Run Graphics Testing. I'm going to click that, and you'll see that it runs, and a window pops up on your screen. And what you'll notice is that string you typed in, testing window, shows up in the top left corner. It is 1,000 pixels across. It is 650 pixels down. If you click in the window, it goes away. And that's it. How many of you are impressed so far? No hands go up. One hand goes up. Okay. Now, let's do something a bit more impressive. Okay? You have a window. Now it's time to actually draw something to it. I want to show you what the wiki looks like for our graphics library and how you can use it. So what I'm going to do, and what you should do as well, go back over to that GitHub repository that we left off on. I never said close it. Okay? If you need to open it back up, open it back up. There's a link here at the top that says wiki. Click it. This right here is going to bring you to the documentation. Once you learn this library well enough, you will all be able to create a picture as detailed as this. Okay? And this picture came from Julian Valera in 2020. Okay? I've yet to see one better. Now over here on the right hand side are links to all the different things you can do and draw with your graphics window. If you select option number 2, GraphWin Objects and Methods, you're going to see that I have all sorts of different documentation here. The constructor is the most important function of all of these objects, everything you can draw. It's what builds it. Okay? We've already used this. This is a function. The function was called GraphWin. It required a title, a width, and a height. We put that into our code right here. GraphWin, a title, a width, and a height. The only difference is it's a return function, so we say win equals. It's always got to be win or something equals. Then from there are all sorts of different functions you can use. For us, we used a get mouse function. It paused the program and waited for us to click. And then there is a close function, which is down here somewhere, right here. This closes the screen. Okay? Now to actually draw in it, all we need to do is select some of these other objects. I want to direct your attention to a point object. Drawing a point is not exciting, but it's required to know how to use it for all of the other objects. A point is just a dot. It's a point in the screen. It's an X and Y position. Okay? There's nothing much to it. You say point with an uppercase P, give it an X, give it a Y, like this. A point equals point at 2530. That will put a dot at the position 2530. Okay. Now to actually use it, you won't see a point on the screen very well, but if you look at the line object, to draw a line you need 2 points. You connect one point to another and you can draw a line between them. Let's go ahead and draw a line together just so that we can see what's happening. Okay? Go over to PyCharm. I want you to go below your window but above where you get the mouse. Okay? All of your drawing has to happen basically between this. Got it? After you create the window but before you close it is where your drawing should happen. We're going to create a line. Okay? Call it something like blue line. We'll make a blue line. Equals. Line, uppercase E. Parentheses. Now, a line requires me to tell it to go between 2 points, 2 endpoints. Make sense? So I'm going to say point. Let's put this point at 50, 50. Let's put another point at, say, 300, 300. Creating the line is not enough. You have to draw the line as well. Okay? This just makes it in memory. You need to see it on the screen. So this creates a line. We need to draw the line. Blue line dot draw to the window. We have to tell the blue line that I'd like to draw it, and I need to tell it where it should draw. The only window that I have available is called Win, so I'm going to tell it to draw in that window. Go ahead, run your program. You're going to see that now you have a canvas set up with a line that starts at 50, 50 down to 300, 300. One thing you should note about a graphics window, it is not the same coordinate plane that you're used to in your math class. In your math class, you're used to your coordinate plane looking like a T, yes? Where 0, 0 is in the center. That is not the case here. 0, 0 is always, always, always the top left corner. The X's get bigger as they move to the right. The Y's get bigger as they move down. So the 50-50 point is this position here. It's 50 pixels to the right and 50 pixels down from the top left corner. The 300-300 is here. It's 300 pixels to the right and 300 pixels down. Okay? You all with me so far? Why are you shaking your head? What's wrong? Like you don't have the code or you don't understand what I'm saying? I'm talking to TJ, sorry. I'm looking right here. He's like, nope.
No, I think I'm starting to step there.
Okay. Click, the program goes away. Question.
Why do we call blue line itself?
All right, that's a good question. Let's make it blue. Okay. So, every object is allowed to be manipulated in almost any way that you want. If I go over to the wiki again and I click on this link for number 3, the graphic objects and methods, this tells me all the different things that I can do with all of these different graphics. I can change their fill color. I can change their active fill color. I can change their outline, their width, how they're drawn and what they're drawn to. I can undraw them. I can move them. I can clone them, duplicate. Okay? What you will use most often in terms of design is the set fill, the set outline, and the set width properties, or I should say functions. Okay? What they do is they allow you to change the width or color of whatever you're making. Okay? So let's try and make a blue line. Sound good? So I'm going to come over here. After it's created but before it's drawn, it's always a good idea to change the features of it. So I'm going to say blue line dot. And this is the nice thing about PyCharm. As soon as you press dot, notice you get a huge menu of things you can do. And as you start typing, it will filter that list. So for me, I want to set outline. A line doesn't have a fill because it's not really a shape, but I can change its outline. And what I want to do is set the outline to blue. And if you want to make it nice and thick, you can say blue line dot set width, and let's pass in a number like 5, so it's 5 times thicker than what it used to be, 5 pixels thick. Got it? Instead of a single pixel. Try running it now, and we get a thick blue line. That's why we called it blue line. So it gives us the option to change it. You have all sorts of shapes and colors and things that you can work with. Anything under the sun that you can think of, we can do. Okay? Eventually, we will make balls that can bounce around the screen. We will make little snakes that we can control. Okay? All sorts of stuff just using basic shapes and images. Okay? What shape should we make next? I've got circles, I've got rectangles, I've got rounded rectangles, ovals, arcs, polygons, circles. Okay, let's look at a circle real quick. A circle. The big thing again is all about the constructor. Look at the constructor, it tells you how to build it. A circle requires a center point and a radius to make. So when you build it, look at the example. I might say something like a circle, or red circle, or green circle, or my circle, but some variable name equals circle with a center point, comma, a radius. Sound good? So let's go over here and let's make a circle. So I'm going to come down. I'll leave my line where it is. Let's make a big, I don't know, green circle in the top right corner. Sound good? So I'm going to go with green circle equals a circle. I'm going to say point. And if I want it in the top right corner, that means I want a big X value and a pretty small Y value, right? My window is 1,000 pixels wide. I'm going to put it at 800, comma, let's say 200. That's going to put the center of my circle 800 pixels to the right, 200 pixels down from the top left corner. And I'm going to tell my circle to be, I don't know, 75 pixels wide. So comma 75. That's the radius. The width of it's going to be 150. The radius is 75 pixels. This creates the circle. Now, I want it to be green, right? So here's some things I can do to it. I can say green circle dot set fill, and I can make it green. And that'll change its color to green. Now I can draw it. Green circle dot draw to the window. Go ahead, run it. You're going to see I've got a decent green circle in the top right corner. And there are so many other things that you can change with this circle just to make it interactive or do different things. Let's say you want to have a thicker border. That's easy enough to do. Green circle dot set width, and let's make that 4. Whoops, didn't mean to scroll that far. And let's say we wanted the border to be red. Green circle dot set outline red. All of those different properties you can change, and it will change the way that it looks. Now I've got a green circle with a red outline. Yes, ma'am.
If you pick a point that would make like part of the circle off of the window, would you consider that?
No, it would not. So for instance, let's say I picked 950 for my X coordinate. It's 75 pixels wide, right, from radius, so I'll have 25 pixels of the circle off screen. Just because your window is only so big doesn't mean it can't draw where it's supposed to be. You can select negative values in your window. You would only do that if you want something drawn but not to be seen, and then you will probably move it into the canvas later, okay? So for instance, let's say I'm making Pac-Man, right? And I've got the Pac-Man character and he goes off screen so he can shuttle and portal back over to the other side, right? So I would draw him till he's off screen, and then I would move him over to the other side and then have him come in, right? So it's a nice way of kind of putting it all together, okay? There are all sorts of different instances where you might want to draw something in a negative side or off screen. You deal with it, okay? Frogger, another great example. You've got logs and things going across. They end up moving off to the left, off to the left. You redraw them on the right and they come through. That way you're not drawing a million different things. You're only drawing 5, and you just keep moving them from one side to the next, to the next, to the next. Good? So all sorts of different things you can do. Any shape you want to draw, okay? It is a matter of going to the wiki, identifying which shape it is you want to use, and looking at the constructor for it, okay? So for instance, let's say I wanted to draw a rectangle. I'm going to click on rectangle. I'm going to look at the constructor. Rectangle, point 1, point 2. It constructs a rectangle having opposite corners at point 1 and point 2. So that means the top left corner is going to be point 1, and the bottom right corner could be point 2. Okay? They just have to be opposites. Okay? Not adjacent, completely opposite. Got it? Corner to corner. To build it, you might say something like this. A rectangle equals rectangle, point 25, 25, 100, 100. You can also use this to make a square. You just need to make sure that your width and height are the same. So, for instance, if I wanted this rectangle made, call it whatever you want. What should we name this rectangle? What is it? Block. Okay? My block is a rectangle. Okay? And notice as I start typing, things start popping up on PyCharm. I can simply press enter once it's highlighted. Let's put this rectangle in the bottom right corner. That's at point, let's say 700, comma 500 to another point at say 900, comma 600. Jason, you're on this. What color should we make this block? Red. So I'm going to set fill. I'm going to set it to red. Anything else we should do with it? How about this? I'm going to go block.set active fill to blue. There's one we haven't used. Block.draw to the window. That's another function from the graphics library that you can use. Let's see if you can figure out what it does. I'm going to run it. I see a red rectangle. Woo! Woo! I put my mouse over it, it changes color. That is a product of one of your past classmates asking me, hey, how can I highlight this every time I put my mouse over it? And I said, you know what, that's a great idea, I'll figure it out for you. And I did it, and then I put it in the library, and now every time they hovered over something, it changed color. So it was kind of like highlighting a button or a menu option or whatever it was. It worked out perfectly, but I didn't need them spending hours trying to figure it out. I spent my own hours trying to figure it out, and it saved everybody time from that point forth, okay? The set active fill function will allow you to change it so that anytime your mouse is over it, it will change to whatever color you say it's supposed to be. So it's a kind of nifty little feature. Right? It only, however, changes the fill color. It will not change the border or the width or anything like that. Okay? So, interesting little part of it. You guys starting to get the gist for how this works? Good. Okay. What else should we try to make? Aaron. A triangle? Triangle is a good shape. You're going to notice that there is no triangle in my graphics library though. Okay? So what in my graphics library could we use to create some other type of shape outside of a rectangle or circle? Eric? Now, a line's going to be able, I could use 3 lines, but then I can't fill it because it's not a convex polygon. Jason? To create a triangle? Well, I could create a square and then cut it in half, but you're always going to see the square shape. Yeah? How about what? I don't have a 3-dimensional triangle in my library. You're getting a little bold for me, okay? This is all 2-dimensional graphics.
Maybe the arcs.
An arc to help me create a triangle? Eric? A polygon, okay? A polygon is the object you would use to make basically any shape outside of what's here, okay? A polygon is no more than just a bunch of vertices connected together, okay? So go ahead and click on the polygon object and it will show you how it's supposed to work. Polygon, it says point 1, point 2, point 3, dot, 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 okay? The dot, dot, dot means you can put in as many points as you want. So if you want a triangle, a diamond, which you can't get out of a square because a square is always going to draw in a horizontal manner, okay? Or vertical. A diamond, a pentagon, a hexagon, an octagon, a double dodecagon, I don't care, okay? If you need something outside of a quadrilateral, okay, you need to go with a polygon. It constructs a polygon with the given points as vertices, also accepts a single parameter that is a list of vertices. I'm going to suggest we do it in this manner. A polygon equals a polygon, and you just label points. If you want a triangle, it's 3 points. If you want a diamond, it's 4. If you want a hexagon, it's 6 points, so on and so forth. Whatever order you put the points in, that's the order it will connect the vertices. Got it? So always make sure you put them in a clockwise or counterclockwise fashion. Let's give it a try. Let's put a triangle, I don't know, in the lower left part of this applet. So here's what I'm going to do. To make a triangle, Aaron, I'm going to call it like Aaron's triangle. Got it? You call it whatever you want. Equals a polygon, and I'm going to give it 3 points. I'm going to put my first point at something like 25, 600. I'm going to put my second point at something maybe like 100, 500. I'm going to put my third point at, say, 175, 600. Aaron, what color do you want your triangle? What color? Purple? We got that. Okay. Aaron triangle dot set fill to purple. Okay. And I can say Aaron triangle dot draw to the window. I can go ahead and run it. Test it. And there is Aaron's purple triangle. You look confused.
Well, because I'm thinking you can't use the polygon function first, part of the window.
Yes, the curved shapes would be a bit more complex to draw, okay? I do not have a curve tool per se, but what I do have is an arc, okay? You could get away with drawing an arc to a line and then, or to a polygon and so on and so forth, fill it, and do your set outlines all of the same color and type. That way they all meld together quite nicely. You can create complex shape as the composition of simpler shapes. Okay? It's challenging, but it can be done. I could maybe include other curved items into the library, but I currently do not. Doing a Beziers curve would be quite complicated. Okay? And I don't know that I have time to do it, or the capability based upon what this is. I'm limited in what I can put in our graphics library because the limitations on its dependencies. It is built off something else that is far more complicated, and if that item is not in that more complicated library, I can't include it in mine. Got it? Aaron, you happy with your triangle? Do you like the purple color that we came up with? I could. Would you like to create your own color? Okay, let me show you this really quick. I'm going to do one other thing and go to another website. I'm just going to pick out a color picker. And you can find this anywhere. And Aaron, you want a purple, right? So something in this range, I'm assuming. Yes? Is this an okay purple? Okay. What I want to note here are the RGB values, red, green, blue, okay? This tells me how much red is in there. This tells me how much blue, how much green is in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this RGB value, 153.10.209, okay? Now, instead of saying set fill as purple, what I can do is I can use those RGB values to get to the specific color that I want, one of 16 million different color combinations. And all I have to do is type color, what is it? No, color underscore RGB, and I can type in those 3 numbers. And this will allow me to choose any kind of color I want out of 16 million different possible combinations. Okay? So now if I run this, the projector is not very great at projecting the color, but we should get something extremely close to what we picked out, which it is, and it's pretty close to a native purple anyways. But you can pick any color that you want using those RGB values for yourself. Any questions, comments, concerns? You guys feeling okay with this? Now, eventually what I like to do is make it so that we can draw all sorts of different stuff. I will have you draw little checkerboards and color gradients and houses and spiraled curves and different pieces that look like illusions, okay? Using these very simple tactics and things of that nature. We just first need to get used to utilizing the functions in the graphics library, okay? That is what the next 2 days are going to be for, okay? Tomorrow, my goal is to draw a very specific picture. I will draw and help you draw a Christmas tree, okay? That's what we'll draw. I know it's Halloween, but Christmas decorations are already going out at Target and Lowe's, and it's pissing me off. So, anyways, we're going to draw a Christmas tree because it's nice, basic shapes. I can make ornaments that are circles and arcs and polygons, and we can put a star at the top and all sorts of stuff. I just don't have the Halloween-y ideas in me that we can draw. Maybe we can draw a jack-o'-lantern, too, if you want, okay? But either way, we'll draw something tomorrow. Friday, when I'm not here, you are going to draw something on your own. Got it? That is going to be your goal. Your goal will be to make a house, make a jack-o'-lantern, make a train, make a car, make a soccer field, make a basketball court, make something that utilizes as many different shapes as possible with as many different colors as possible, okay? That will be your goal for Friday, okay? It doesn't have to be a complex drawing, okay? A basketball court is not that much. It's a rectangle with a couple different lines and circles drawn on it, right? A soccer field, again, not that much, okay? But your goal will be to make something and make sure it resembles whatever it is you're trying to make, utilizing as many of the different functions as you can within that class period. Are you all okay with that? Okay. I'm going to end this recording really quick.